Do you host a golf outing or are you thinking about it? How much time do you actually spend planning and organizing a golf outing? If you've done one before, do you feel like sometimes time is slipping through? Do you feel like you're wasting money? Well, are you ready to save some time and save some money, which means make more money for your golf outing? Well, you've come to the right place. Hello, everyone. My name is Phil Immordino, and this is another free webinar hosted by the GTAA. For over 30 years, we've had the opportunity to work with thousands of tournament planners around the world, and we have one simple mission, and that is to help you produce the best golf tournament possible. We do this through education, webinars like this, and videos, as well as books and tapes. And so we're here to serve you, help you talk about the tough things that you want to get through and the fun things in planning a golf tournament. Today, we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about how to save time and money. We're going to talk about some things that you need to know. For example, where are you spending your time or where should you be spending your time? How do you spend it more wisely? Where do you spend money? And then where can you save some money? How do you sell major sponsors for major dollars as well as give them even additional exposure? What does a day of operations look like? How to recruit more golfers? And if you stick with me to the end, we're going to give you a little bonus. And that's how do you evaluate your event? And then I'm going to give you a tournament evaluation form if you stick with us to the end. So stick with us for that. So with that, let's just get right into it. How do you spend time when playing a golf tournament? Where is the most time that you spend? Now, keep in mind, we've been doing this for 30 years and we're continually doing surveys and talking to folks just like you to find out where they spend their most time. So, I'm going to tell you exactly where typically you're going to spend most of your time. Number one is finding golfers. That is obviously the top priority is filling your field with golfers. And I'm going to share with you a way today to streamline that and to fill your field with golfers. But where do you find them? How long does that take? And it is the most time consuming process that you're going to be involved in. Selling sponsors. Selling sponsors, if you want to make real money, the profits in the sponsors, and it takes time. It takes time to find the companies and make the presentation. So you're going to spend a lot of time doing that. Gifts and prizes, depending on how good your tournament is and the gifts and prizes, you'll learn that your tournaments is judged by the gifts and prizes that you give out. So obviously you want good stuff, and you need to take time doing that. And then finding a golf course, finding the right golf course. If you haven't been doing a tournament year after year, it takes time to find the right golf course at the right price. It takes time to get them to call you back. It takes time to follow up and do the contract. I mean, there's a lot of things to do, but here are the main things that you're going to be spending time on. Just going to quickly show you. There's over 100 items in planning a golf tournament. I'm not going to show you all of them today because that would take a lot of time, but just you need to know that there is a lot of stuff to do. We have over 100-step checklist that you can get from us for free if you ask, and we'd love to give that to you just to remind you of all the things that you need to be doing. But I've just listed 45 here, but there's over 100. So you get the idea, and there's a lot of stuff to do. But where are people wasting their time? This is a big one that I think sometimes we forget all the little things that waste your time. I'm going to go through just a few of them so you can make sure you don't make the same mistakes that other people have made. Number one is bad volunteers. Volunteers are the secret to your success. And if you have good ones with no drama, well connected, well trained, well motivated, you're going to be more successful. So you need to avoid the bad volunteers. And trust me, you'll know them right out of the chute because they've got attitudes and they don't return phone calls, they don't return emails, and they're really hard to kind of rattle in to get done what you need to get done. The other problem is too many people on your committee. I've seen committees with there's 20, 30 people. And the problem with that is you're going to waste a lot of time trying to make decisions because everyone has their own opinion. So we recommend a committee of about, 6 to 9 people on your executive committee. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have a lot of volunteers helping with the event, the day of the event, and different aspects. But on your executive committee, you just want about, 6 to 9 people. No business plan. This is a real problem. You got to remember that your golf tournament is just like a business, and you've got to treat it like a business. So you need a business plan. You need a checklist. You need action items. You need responsibilities. You need goals. You need a timeline. You need responsibilities. You need to make sure that everyone has their responsibilities. So make sure you put together a business plan. And if you haven't seen one of those, let us know. We can also provide kind of an outline or a sample business plan for you. Chasing golfers. It can be a nightmare for you when you're out there trying to get the golfers. They may commit to you verbally, but then they don't return your emails, and then you got to get their credit card. And it's just a lot of work and a lot of time wasted. And then putting together reports on the financials and the golfers and the sponsors and who's doing what and who's on first. I mean, most tournaments out there are very unorganized because they don't know who's in and who's out. And so you need reports, and it can take a lot of time. And then communication with golfers is key because I believe that you need to keep the golfers in the loop. You need to communicate with them on a regular basis. And if you don't have a vehicle or a way to communicate them through emails, through a website, it makes it very, very difficult. So these are just some of the ways. There's a lot of obviously other ways that people waste time, but these are just a few of the time wasters that we see. So what are some quick ideas on how we save time? How do we save time wisely? And I want to make sure that you're using your time wisely. So, just a couple of thoughts you may want to make note to save some time in the future. Number one is you need to build a database of golfers. Don't just have them, handwritten on a napkin or a couple of business cards laying around, maybe a few in your Outlook. But I would put together a master list of golfers. And this is something that I think you need to work on all year round because if your goal is to fill your field with 144 golfers or even 288, it starts with the golfers. So start with a good database, but continually add to it, modify it, make sure it's updated, make sure people's emails are updated. But it starts with a database of golfers, and that's an all year round project. Golf courses. There's probably in our market in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, there's over 200 golf courses. So how in the world are you going to figure out the best golf course and the best price? Well, a lot of it has to do with, the geographical area. Where is it located? Is it within an hour of your most of your golfers? But at the same time, it's good to know all of the golf courses. So this is another process that needs to be handled all year round, where you're keeping track of the golf courses. Are they an A course? Are they a B course? Are they a Z course? Are they a resort course? Are they a private country club? Are they an executive course? Know your golf courses because it's a big, big topic for your golfers. If you put on a tournament, that's the number one question they ask. Where is it? Because why is that? Because golfers want to play a great golf course. So I really encourage you to think long and hard about getting the best golf course and, of course, at the best price. So the only way to do that is to have a complete database of all the golf courses in your area so that you know what they're charging, what they offer, and you can keep on top of who's their contact person over there and what are when do they close for reseeding like they do here in Arizona. But keep track of the golf courses, and that's an all year round project also. Gathering gifts and prizes. Sadly enough, gifts and prizes can be an afterthought for a lot of tournaments, and it needs to be a priority because, as I mentioned, your tournament will be judged by the gifts and prizes you give out. So you need cool, good stuff. So you start with an inventory of different suppliers, maybe in your area. If you're looking for a whole list of great suppliers of great gifts and prizes, you can always go to our website because our preferred vendors, they offer all of their stuff at GTA preferred pricing. So that may be a good place to start. And don't be running around looking for a bunch of freebies because you get what you pay for. And sadly enough, some of the freebies are cheapies and not good quality. And you want your tournament to be represented well through those gifts and prizes. So start a list, a database of gifts and prize suppliers. And then if you're collecting stuff, I suggest you collect stuff all year round. And you don't care what you collect, but collect it. Have a warehouse, have a closet full. Just collect stuff, and you can determine where it goes later. But gifts and prizes are key, and it's hard to get them at the last minute. I see everyone scrambling at the last minute. So gather gifts and prizes all year round. Um, Communication is so important. So you spend your time wisely through a blast email system. So hopefully you have some way to email your golfers, your sponsors, your volunteers. But communication in this world is key because we're spending so much time. We get so many emails every day that sometimes we forget stuff and things slip through the cracks. So you want to save time and use it wisely by communicating with your sponsors, with your volunteers, with your golfers on a regular basis, especially that last couple of months leading up to your tournament. You want to make sure that everyone's in the loop and knowing exactly, what you're doing and what you're up to. This is a big one, especially for you chairmen of your tournament, is delegation. Sometimes, we try to do it all, and I've seen this happen. There's one or two people that do everything, for the tournament. So a secret to your using your time wisely is to delegate, divide up the work, make sure that everyone on your committee has a specific role and a specific responsibility. Now, we do a whole video on committee responsibilities, but you may want to check that out on our YouTube channel. But it talks about what are the different titles that you should assign. What are the different responsibilities of each chairman? You need a chairman for sponsors, a chairman for golfers, a chairman for logistics, but divvy up the work. If you try to do it all yourself, you're going to be overwhelmed and you'll never get it all done. So delegation is the secret keyword there. Zoom meetings have just been a miracle for me. I've learned all about how to Zoom meetings. In the old days, we used to have to go and try to get everyone together, find a location, grab lunch. But nowadays, committee Zoom meetings are essential. You want to meet on a regular basis, especially that last couple of months. But it saves everyone time. Now that doesn't take away from your one-on-one or face-to-face committee meetings. I think a couple of those are essential. But Zoom meetings are going to save you a lot of time and travel if you can get the committee together on a Zoom call. Registering golfers, that this can take a lot of time if you don't have a registration process, a way to collect golfers names, emails, payment, and so forth, because that can be a lot of work. 144 people trying to keep track of all of them can be a lot of work. So you want to get golfers registered as early as possible. You want to offer a pre-sign up or early bird special, giving them a discounted price, making sure that you get everyone's information early, make sure that everyone's paid in advance, do not collect money at the event. And then again, communication with these golfers, keeping them in the loop, keeping them informed of what you're doing. But these are just a few ideas on how you can spend your time wisely. So take note of some of those. Now, where do you spend your money? Where does the money go? Now, every tournament's going to be different, obviously, but I can tell you generically where you're going to spend the big money. Obviously, number one is the golf course, and depending on the market you're in, depending on the level of quality of the golf course, private country club may be a little bit more, resort courses are going to be a little bit more, but the number one bill you're going to have is the golf course. So you got to keep track of that. And I really want to caution you of golf courses. They do a little, just like hotels, they throw in little fees here or there, taxes and fees and sometimes additional, tournament service fees and then gratuities. So be really careful and look at that contract closely, because they may tell you it's a rate of $100, but by the time you add the taxes and fees, it's 150. So this is important when you're putting together your budget. Uh, Food and beverage is your other big one. You're going to want to buy food for everyone, sometimes one meal, sometimes two, whether you have a sack lunch or you have an awards banquet, but food and beverage can be key, and especially beverages. If you're going to go out and try to buy alcohol for everyone, it could get crazy. So selling a sponsor for alcohol is always good. But the basics, the food and the beverage, keep track of that. And here's a little secret tip. And don't just go with the menu that they give you. A lot of times they'll just say these are the set menus. But if you learn to pick what's good and what's not so popular, take those off the menu, but you can create a menu and keep that price a little bit lower. Again, though, watch out for the taxes, the fees, and the gratuities, because that can take that $50 lunch up to $75, and then it shoots your budget. I encourage you to have a gift and prize budget. So many charities, want to get away with donations, and I'm not opposed to donations, but again, you get what you pay for. So, we show you how to get all your gifts and prizes paid for by someone else, by sponsors, building the price into the sponsorship package. But it still needs to be in your budget. And gang, if you want a first class event, you need to build in $50 to $75 per person just in gifts and prizes, because that shows quality. Now, again, you're not paying for that. It's coming from sponsors, but it needs to be in the budget. You've got insurance. You may want to do a hole-in-one contest. You may want to do a putting contest. You may want weather insurance, depending on the market that you're in. But that's a line item that you need to be aware of. Signs and banners, definitely you want those for your sponsors and visibility and direction. Very, very important. And I'm just going to plug it and say don't go cheap. Signs and banners can make your event look a lot bigger than it really is, just by good quality signs, banners, flex banners. So don't go cheap. Don't go with those cheap little plastic things on wires, because it just makes your tournament look cheap. But it needs to be a line item. And then a website. Obviously, you need a presence on the internet. You need to show, who you are, the quality of your event. You need to explain the cause, what you're trying to do, and a website will able to do that. So very, very important that you have that. Now, there's other items that I didn't include. There might be photography, there might be hotels, there might be, audio visual, but here's the basic ones. And we have a more in-depth budget in our planner that we can share with you. So this is the main places that you spend money. Now, let me tell you where people waste money. Let me tell you just a few ideas on how people throw money out the window, and keep note of this. Number one, not necessarily in this order, but one of the ways is free golf to committee members. Just remember, gang, there is no free lunch, no free golf for your committee members. They think just because they're on the committee, they get free lunch. They don't do any work and they expect free golf. Not going to happen. Okay, so the goal there is to get the committee members to bring in their own foursome and pay for it, because you're there to raise money. So no free golf to committee members. Trading. People think that trading is free, that trading is a great way to go. Here's the problem with trading. That you still have to pay out of pocket for golf, food, and merchandise. So if you try to trade with a radio station to promote your event, you still have to pay. That's not free. I'm not discouraging trading. I think it's a great vehicle, but don't trade for playing spots. Do not trade for golfing and food and merchandise. Trade for exposure, trade for sponsorship, a presence at the event, but do not trade for golf. That's a sacred cow, because you got to pay for it inside of money. All right. Another way people waste money is overcommitting. Do not overcommit to the golf course. Big mistake. People say, well, we're going to have 144. They sign a contract and they end up with 72. Money out the window. Don't overcommit to food. They say we're going to have 144 people for lunch, and then all of a sudden 72 people show up. So don't overcommit for gifts and prizes. You want to buy 150 shirts and then 80 people show up. So be very, very cautious. If anything, underestimate with the golf, underestimate, and then hopefully you'll get over and you'll make some money. Another mistake people make is not asking for things, not asking for stuff. We don't ask for more. For example, you have a sponsor that goes, yeah, we'll give you 250 for a hole sign. We'll bump them up. It doesn't hurt to ask. Okay, don't be satisfied with that $250 hole sign. Bump them up to a lunch sponsor or a drink sponsor, but ask for more with everyone that you work with. For the sign company, have them kick in a few extra free signs, but ask for more. Big mistake that people do. Don't undervalue the benefits that you get from the golf course. Big mistake that people make is they don't realize all the golf course can do for you. They can do the scoring, they can do the signs, they can do the setup, they can do the staging, they can put up, they can print scorecards. There's a whole lot of things that they use to analyze what they do and make sure you capitalize. A lot of things that they do that you're not aware of. They'll give you a free gift. They'll give you a free foursome. They may throw in some teas. They may throw in a special gift for your golfers, gift certificates. So do not be afraid to ask, number one, but double check that contract and ask for more. Another big mistake that I see a lot of charities, they feel guilty for asking for more money. And this is another big mistake because they take the money from the sponsorship and the golfers and they run with it. They're happy, they're content, and that's it. Well, here's a big money maker if you take advantage of it, and that is ask for more during the award ceremony. If you have a good cause and you believe in that cause, do not be afraid to share what that cause is and all the benefits and all the things that you're doing to help a community. So emphasize that. You never know who's in that audience. You never know who's seeing your website on the internet or watching your social media. If they believe in your cause, they'll give you more money. Someone may have a passion for what you're doing. So ask for more money during the award ceremony. Not a high pressure thing, but just give them the opportunity. So I'm going to quickly show you what a budget looks like. Again, this is generic. There's many ways to look at a budget, but this is kind of just a generic budget. And I like to keep track of this budget. Obviously, you show the income in one area, you show the expenses in the other. I like to do in the beginning a minimum and a maximum, and then the actual number. And this will show you how you did, but this will show you what the potential is, what the worst case scenario is, but it gives you a good way to keep track of the money that you're making and how you're coming along. But you need a track, you need a budget to show where you're at. Now, a big one, guys, the big money maker, if you're doing this right, is sponsorship. Sponsorship, I believe, I know, is your number one profit center. The more sponsors you make, the more sponsors you sell, the more money you make. So you need to sell big sponsors. Sure, you can take the whole signs, but that's not really a sponsorship. That's more of a donation. So I want to encourage you to really take serious sponsorship. Most people don't take sponsors very serious. Now, we do a full-blown video on sponsors and how to really maximize your revenue from sponsorship. So take a look at that in our golf tournament channel on YouTube. But here's a couple of quick notes and what we talk about. Number one, you need to understand your demographics. What does that mean? Well, who's playing in your tournament? What do they do for a living? Where do they live? How much money do they make? What do they buy? What are the demographics of not just your golfers, but the people that you reach with your blast emails? And why is this important? Because I can tell you right now, your sponsors want one thing, gang. They just want more business. Oh, sure, they'll give you a couple of bucks to help your cause, but what they really want is more clients, more business. So you need to show them a way how to get more business. You need to show them that your golf tournament is a marketing tool for them, not just another donation. If you want the real money, the big money, you've got to show them the value of your event as a marketing tool for them. And it starts with the demographics. Who are you reaching? Who are you marketing to? Who's going to see, the advertisement coming from this golf tournament? So know your demographics and create a demographic sheet to show your sponsors that you're reaching their potential customers. Number two, create a vendor list, a supplier list, anybody you have relationships with. A lot of times you see, well, I go to this one restaurant, so I'll get a gift certificate. That's all great and good. But if you want the real money, analyze who your accounts payable are. Who are you spending money with? Do you spend money with suppliers? Do you have an office rent bill? Do you have a lawyer, law fees, legal fees, attorneys, as well as accounting fees? Look at the people that you spend money with because these are all potential sponsors. And if you're reaching with your marketing the potential customers of your vendors, they're going to spend more money with you. Why? Because they want a return on investment. So create a great list of potential big sponsors who you do business with already because they know you. And then develop sponsorship packages that work, not another whole sign, not another title sponsor where they don't get anything. It's so frustrating to see some of these sponsorship packages that include nothing. And you need to show them a marketing plan that's going to help their business. They're looking for a return on investment. And then finally, don't try to sell these sponsorships over the phone or via email, gang. It's not going to work. If you're trying to ask for 5, 10, 15, $25,000, it ain't going to be done over the phone. You might get a whole sign over the phone. You might get a, quick 500 bucks. But if you want the big money, set up an appointment, go meet with these potential sponsors face to face and sell them on your what you're doing, your cause, the exposure, the marketing plan. These are just a few of the ideas, but if you want the full story, go check out that video. That'll help you out. All right. So you're asking, well, Phil, what areas are there more exposure for our sponsors? All we know is how to sell a whole sign, and that's the problem. So let me just give you just a few ideas on how you offer these sponsors more exposure and more return on their investment. Obviously, you need a website with your golf tournament information, and they can get their logo, a website link to their website. Website is key. Blast emails, include your sponsors in all the blast emails, because let me just tell you again, your sponsors don't want to reach 100 golfers. That's no big deal. That doesn't get anybody excited. But if you're doing blast emails to 5,000, 10,000 potential golfers in your database, they're more apt to spend some money with you. So do blast emails and include those sponsors in those blast emails. Press releases, include your sponsors in the press releases. If you have a title sponsor, maybe it's the Bank of America Invitational, that's going to be in the media. So put together a list of media and the radio stations, the newspapers, the magazines, and send out press releases all about your event, all about your organization and what you're doing. On-site display, a lot of people will put a little sign out, but that's nothing. No one even looks at signs. So you need a display table, you need maybe a tent, uh, maybe some sampling opportunities. If it's food companies, maybe bring out cars if it's a car company, but a major presence out on site, not just another little hole sign. Although signage is good. The more signage, the better, but not just a little plastic sign. You want big flex banners on the driving range. You want big billboards on the driveways or driving in. So, make your event look bigger with big signage and include those sponsors on it. Utilize that goodie bag for promotion. You can put, product or sample products in that goodie bag of your sponsors. You can put flyers, you can put specials, but include them in those goodie bags, because then those golfers are going to take that stuff home and then hopefully, use those sponsors, and that's more business. You've also got the award ceremony introduction. Now, you don't want to make that a big commercial, production, but you definitely want to introduce the bigger sponsors, let them say a few words, but give them exposure during that award ceremony. Follow-up emails are so crucial. Most tournaments will just stop. When the tournament's over, it's stopped. We never hear from you again. But follow up, send out a report. How did your tournament do? Include those sponsors. Don't forget to go buy your car at, Midway Buick. Go open up an account at Bank of America. But include follow-up emails to your golfers and your database promoting your sponsors. And then here's a crazy idea, but it works. I've done it, and that's to give maybe some of your database, your email list, to your sponsors. I'll give you an example. I did an event for realtors, and Cadillac was our sponsor, and we actually emailed over 5,000 realtors. We only got 150 out there at the tournament, but we had a database of 5,000. Well, part of our sponsorship package was to give that database of realtors to Cadillac, and they loved that because they were able to use that in their follow-up marketing. So, gangs, bottom line is sponsors are your profit. So don't take it lightly. Create some great packages. Watch that full video and you'll get a better feel, but that's where your big money is. And now we go to recruiting golfers. Again, you're not doing this tournament without golfers, and the average tournament only has 72 golfers. So you want to fill your field. That's the goal. So some of the ways you want to do that is, obviously, we talked about earlier, build that database of potential um, golfers, but you want to, sell it. You to really sell the golfers, gang. Trust me, and don't take this wrong, but they're not coming out to your golf tournament to give to your charity. If they want to give to your charity, they can just write you a check. But to play in your golf tournament, you need to give them something special. You need to give them a great golf tournament. We all get invited to hundreds of tournaments a year. So you want to give them something special. And that starts with a great golf course. You got to get a great golf course that they get excited to play. Second, it's about food and beverage. Promote the food. Tell them how great it's going to be. You're getting a steak dinner or, barbecue, whatever it is. But promote the food, get them excited. Give them a great goodie bag. I never hear about what's in that goodie bag until I get there. And then no, 9 times out of 10, I'm disappointed. But get a really cool goodie bag and promote that. Tell golfers you're going to get a shirt and a hat and balls and gloves. We want to hear that because that gets us more excited to come play in your event. But the key thing is giving them a value. Oh, let me add awards. I went to a tournament last week and they never told us what we were playing for. So we played our hearts out and we won the tournament, but all we got was a $75 gift certificate at a pizza joint. I was not excited. So get really good awards. We want to play for something substantial, and it's not a $50, $75 gift certificate. It's something great, a golf bag, maybe a driver, something really great, but promote it. Let them know what they're playing for, and you're going to get them more excited. But the bottom line is value. You want to offer your golfers value. Now, what does that value mean? It means giving them more than they pay for. So give them more. Don't overprice your tournament and give them less. Give them more. Give them a great golf course, great food and beverage, great gifts and prizes, great award ceremony, and they'll see the value, and then they'll get excited to play, not just this year, but year after year. Because the bottom line in filling up your field is a quality golf tournament and friends asking friends. If I'm going to invite my buddy to a golf tournament, I want to make sure it's first class. I want to make sure it's good. So the 9-4-4 rule, if you haven't heard of it, is 9 people on your committee inviting 4 people to go out and get a foursome. That's how you sell out your tournament every year. But now you got to keep track of them. Now you got to make sure that you're keeping track of all your golfers. And big mistake that most tournament coordinators make is they don't get all the information. So you obviously need a program or need a way to sign up all your golfers and get the correct spelling of their names, get the names of all the other golfers. But here's important, Kane. Write this down. Get the emails of all the other golfers. See, this is key for your sponsors. And think about this. That means 75% of your tournament, most tournaments aren't even getting the email names or the emails of those golfers. Sure, you get the email of the guy or the gal who reserves that foursome, but what about the other 3? That's 75%. You want those emails. Figure out a way to capture those emails in advance. At worst case, capture those emails at the tournament. You want to get their phone numbers too for follow up, just to say thank you for giving, thank you for supporting. You want to follow up with every single one of those golfers. You need to get their handicap and or their scoring average. This way, you're putting the right golfers with the right golfers. You may want to create different flights of ways to win. So you want to get the handicap or the scoring average. You want to get their shirt size. In any case, you want to know what shirt size. Hopefully, you're ordering shirts. And then you want to follow up with these golfers with a weekly email just to keep them in the loop of what you're doing. So this is how you keep track of golfers. Last thing I want to talk about is the day of operations, gang. This is so important because you can put on a huge killer event, but if you're not organized, you get a bad reputation. Golfers want to play in a tournament that's organized. So you need a good organized day. The day of operations was what you've been working towards. It's the key. It's the icing on the cake. It's everything that you've worked towards. So some key things to remember is at your golf tournament, you want a registration process that's smooth, registering golfers. And if you get them all signed up in advance on a good program, it's just a check-in system. They've already paid. You get 4 or 5 volunteers at registration. It goes very smooth. Food services. You got to make sure that the food service is flowing. I played in that tournament last week. The food didn't get there until 5 minutes before we were supposed to tee off. Very frustrating because we had to run out of our carts and go grab the food, get back. It was a nightmare. The gift bags need to be organized, especially if you're getting shirts and need to be labeled with the shirt size. They need to be packed a day in advance. But that's a big process handing out those goodie bags, especially if you got a big full field. Selling raffle tickets and mulligans, I really recommend you do that online in advance because if you try to collect money at the event, it's going to be unorganized. It's going to be hard. It's trying to get everyone's credit card. So try to sell raffle and mulligan stuff in advance. Games and contests, they need to be running smooth. They need to be running uh, by trained volunteers because if they're unorganized, us golfers know. I really recommend real-time scoring. One of the biggest time wasters, one of the biggest, most frustrating thing for us golfers is to play, 4 or 5 hours in a golf tournament and wait another hour for the scoring results. And that's typically what happens. If they're doing a score, handwritten scorecard, it's going to take forever, at least an hour to get all the results. So real-time scoring is key, and there's software that'll help you do that. And then the award ceremony, a lot of people will leave because the award ceremonies are boring or unorganized or not fun, but they need to be first class. They need to be fun. They need to be upbeat and well organized. So we do a full video on that also, the award ceremony. But turn that into a party, and you can actually make more money with that award ceremony. So how do you stay organized with the day of operations? Well, I'm just going to give you a couple of quick ideas here. Staying organized for the day of the event. Number one, lots of volunteers. Now, this is not the ones necessarily on your committee, but have volunteers doing something. I like to put volunteers in a different colored shirt or maybe a big badge so that they're recognized. So people who know who they are, they're well informed, and it really shows that you're a quality organization. Lots of volunteers. I like to see a volunteer meeting in advance of your tournament. Meet 2 hours before the tournament. Go do a walkthrough with your volunteers. Make sure everyone knows who's doing what and where things are. Answer every question for the volunteers because they're going to be asked by those golfers. I suggest an operations manual, a complete operations manual of the day. This shows a checklist. This shows the schedule of events. This lists everything that's in your auction, all the prizes for the raffle, all the games and contests, but a full operations manual that each of your volunteer committee members get so they have the answer to every question when it pops up. And then a checklist. Make sure you have that checklist of all the items you're going to need that day so that you're not forgetting pens and pencils and a credit card accept machine and signs and whatever you need. But there's a whole checklist of what you're going to need that day. So I know that's a lot, gang. I know that you got your hands full, but golf tournaments, obviously, are fun. They can raise a lot of money if they're done properly, if they're well organized, and you can save time and money. So one of the ways that I want to introduce you today is how to save time and money and make more money is an organization that we've been working with for years. We actually helped them in the very beginning develop this program based on tournaments and what your needs are. And Birdies Pro has been around for many years. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, and we're lucky to have Sheldon with us to tell us all about Birdies, what they're up to, what they're doing. And with that, Shelton, please take it away and tell them all about Birdies Pro.
Perfect. Thank you, Phil, as well. Thank you for everybody who's joined the webinar as well. So, a little background about myself. Just started with Birdies around 6 months ago. Love the company, love helping charities and organizations find a better way to manage your golf events. So, with Birdies was established in 2009. We're located over here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And so, we help everybody from individuals to small groups to large organizations manage charity events. So with that, we're going to give a little demo about back-end day of operations. We're going to touch base on how you can save countless hours of management as well with our registrant section and with our day of operations that we have within our systems. So how do we do that? How do we stay organized? How do we save time and management on your tournament? We do that with our dedicated event site that we have, and we're going to walk through that as well. With Birdies, you do get a complete online registration as well. And you do have an auction, we have automated reports, and even event check-in to stay organized for your day of events as well. And so we're going to get into what that actually looks like on the website as well. So, and then we do have a dedicated 24/7 support team as well. We like to say we are the best customer service in the industry as well. So feel free to call us anytime and we'll be happy to help. So how do people get started with Birdies? Sign up for a free trial. If you go to our site, birdiespro.com, you can sign up for a free trial to see how easy Birdies is. And then we'll dive into the sample site where I'm going to show like sponsorships, how to stay organized, how people are displaying their sponsorships on their dedicated event site as well. And then we can go into more depth in the back end of the system as well.
Well, that was great, Shelton. So, bottom line, gang, if you want to save time, you want to save money, which means make more money, contact Bertie's, contact Shelton. He'll walk through the whole process and do a personal one-on-one demonstration for you. And trust me, it's worth it because you need a website. You need a process that's going to help you streamline all of that. So, I told you if you stuck with me, I was going to give you a little bonus, gang. And here's the bonus. How do we evaluate our golf tournament so that we're going to do better next year? Let's face it, we're not in this for, I don't think most of us are not doing this one time. We want to build it and make it better year after year. But a lot of folks do not know how to make it better year after year. It's the same old thing. So we have a complete tournament evaluation system. So if you email me, or in fact, I'm going to send it to you for those of you who stayed online with us, but I'm going to send that out to you. It's kind of a questionnaire for yourself to ask the right questions on what did we do right, what did we do wrong. But before you fill that out, I encourage you to do a survey with your current golfers. You could even do a survey that day at the award ceremony, although it's better to do it afterwards via email. And don't do another survey. Offer them something. Offer them a discount next year, maybe a sleeve of golf balls, because the more you offer them in that survey questionnaire, the more response you're going to get. So don't just say, "Hey, what did you think?" because you won't get much response. But give them something to respond. Maybe it's a certificate for lunch or dinner, but they will respond if you give them something. But you want that valuable information. You want to know what you did right. You want to know what you did wrong so that you can improve and do it again next year. I also want to encourage you to do a wrap up meeting. Get your committee back to the golf course a week later while it's fresh on your memory, and then talk about it. Talk about, hopefully you've done a survey by then, and you can see what right went right and what went wrong, and you can analyze and know how you can improve on it for next year. But analyze every aspect. Were the sponsors happy? Were the golfers happy? Was the pace of play good? Was did they like the food? Did they like the awards? But go through every aspect, and I'm going to send you what you should be asking. So that's it, gang. But before we wrap up, I just want to tell you quickly, if you're not familiar with the GTAA and who we are, again, we've been in business for over 30 years, helping tournaments just like you plan the best golf tournament channel. As I mentioned, we have the golf tournament channel on YouTube. We have a video in depth on pretty much every topic: how to sell sponsors, how to sell golfers, how to do promotion and marketing, how to do an award ceremony, even how to do a committee meeting. And we've got over 100 videos available to you at no charge at the Golf Tournament channel on YouTube. We also have books and tapes: how to produce a golf tournament, the complete guide to games and contests. We have the e-version and the hard copy, but that will not leave anything by chance because you will have all the information in those. We also have a whole list of preferred vendors and suppliers, as Birdie's Pro and others. So go to our website and look under gifts and prizes for preferred vendors, and these folks will work with you and give you better pricing on everything. And then if you want to take your job, your career, your experience to the next level, think about possibly becoming a GTAA golf certified planner. Now, what is that? That's someone who works for a golf course, someone who works for a charity or a nonprofit and wants that certification, wants that credibility of who you are and what you do. We have a program, it's online, it's in depth on how to produce a golf tournament. We go into depth on all of these, and there's a test, a 100-question test that you would take at the end to make sure that you know the answers to everything about a golf tournament. But you get certified, we promote you, and it's any question, anytime. We can help you through anything in the future, and you get that credibility and experience and confidence that you are a trained, certified planner. So, gang, let me wrap up by saying this: we everyone here and everyone out there wants to save time and money, which means we want to make more money. And we can do that by being organized. And there's just a few little key things on staying organized. We went through those today. I'm going to send you a recording of what we did today. So you're going to have that so you can review it. You can send it to any of your volunteer committee members, and help stay up to speed. But we just appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing in the market, helping your cause, serving your community. Keep up the good work. We're here to help you raise more money, produce a better golf tournament, and do it much easier. Shelton, thanks for your coming and participating and sharing us a little bit about Birdie's Pro. And again, good luck with your tournament next year. Let us know how we can help you in the in the future. This is Phil Mordino signing off. Have a great week.